Okay, everyone, welcome back. We've got another week of Down the Line. The last week of baseball, we got a 7 days in hell situation with the AL wild card. Most of the MLB, most of the rest of the MLB is decided, other than the AL wild card. Rays clinched the division. White Sox clinched the division. Houston up 4.5 games over Seattle, but Seattle's fighting for a wild card spot, so that's pretty much decided. Milwaukee clinched their division. San Francisco and the Dodgers clinched playoff spots. Padres, who was everyone's, maybe kind of magical pick, trying to hoping for something different to happen to win the World Series potentially. They're officially eliminated, mathematically out of it. They finished, or as of right now, 24 games behind the Giants. I mean, just absurd how far off they fell. NL East, we're looking at Phillies 2.5 games behind the Braves. But the biggest thing, and I think what all baseball is watching for the rest of this week, like I said, the 7 days in hell, is the AL wild card scenario. Nobody cares who's coming out of the NL East anyway. Neither of those teams are winning it. Obviously, now that I said that, the Braves are obviously going to win the World Series. But for the most part, that's probably not happening. So all eyes are on the AL wild card. Just an absolute crazy scenario that we're looking at. I feel like we're going to get some, now that ESPN is going to try to pay attention to baseball for this week. We're going to get some like wild West graphic at some point, or there's going to be like, oh, this is why they call the wild card wild, with some weird graphics that Jeff Passan's going to be like, why did you guys just ruin everyone's enjoyment of baseball for this week? But Nick, what the hell is going on in the AL right now?
It's crazy, right? I mean, what we just saw this weekend, the Yankees go into Fenway and sweep, which we'll obviously talk about. Blue Jays are not done yet. The Mariners are making a late push. The A's are pretty much falling out of it. I know there's that tweet that was going viral yesterday about the, possibility, a very slim chance, obviously, of a 5-way tie, which would be just absolutely ridiculous. But
It'd be hilarious. If there was ever a season for that to happen, with how disappointing some of these teams have been and how exciting some of these other teams have been, 5-way tie to end the season, and just Rob Manfred just being like, I don't know, put them all on second base and see what happens. Like that's how it would end or something like that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is what you play for, right? I mean, obviously, like we said in the NL, it's pretty much everything's set. I know the NL East and NL West are coming down to the wire a little bit, but we know for the most part the teams that are going to be in the playoffs there. American League, all the divisions are set, but I mean, the American League wild card, there's a lot of different possibilities as far as who's going to get in and where the game's going to be played at this point. So you don't always get that over 162. I think this is really the goal of the second wild card, was to have more teams involved late. So I mean, it's awesome to see. Obviously, as a Yankee fan, it's extremely nerve-wracking. But I mean, this is the ending that baseball hoped for, and hopefully, this is one of those weeks where people who you don't usually see giving a shit start to actually pay a little bit of attention and say, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. I've always been a big fan. I know we got a little annoyed with the whole playoff scenario last year, but it was what it was. Weird year. I've always been a big fan of the second wild card spot, and it's second wild card spot, and it's for this reason. Even the A's, who are a little bit farther out of it, they still feel in it. I mean, how many times does Oakland? I mean, yes, they've been better in the past, but how many times does Oakland really get a chance to, be in a playoff race? There's years where they have really bad years, so it's exciting. Even the Mariners, they haven't been good in a while, it feels like. So them just being able to be a part of it while their division is pretty much decided is just exciting. And the coolest part about it is that a lot of these guys are playing each other to end this season. Not even just the Yankees, which obviously we'll get to. The Yankees have 3 against Toronto playing right now, obviously, 3 against Tampa Bay. The Red Sox, not as much. 3 at Baltimore, 3 at Washington. They definitely have the easiest schedule. Blue Jays, 3 versus New York, 3 versus Baltimore. Very annoying that they end versus Baltimore, is what it is. Mariners, 2 versus Oakland. A's, 2 at Seattle, and 3 at Houston. And then the Mariners also have 3 against the Angels. But at some point along this way, these guys who are fighting for these wild card spots, they're going to be playing each other. So at these how these rotations line up, how these players are, like these hot streaks, that whether their hitters are on or not. Mitch Haniger's hitting the shit out of the ball right now. That's huge for this AL wild card race. So these guys playing each other in this final, like I said, this final 7 days in hell scenario is just going to be amazing. Just good baseball. just good baseball overall.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, last week when the Yankees were playing the Rangers, it sucks. It was like, all right, we can win, but you're still hoping, if you want to gain ground, you're still hoping for help from somebody else. So as much as a ringer as it is, and people have been complaining, for weeks now that we end with Red Sox, Blue Jays, Tampa. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's on you and nobody else. Obviously what the Red Sox do this week and what the Blue Jays do this weekend will also have an impact, but you really control most of your destiny when you're playing these teams. So it's a little bit of a small complaint. I'm annoyed. Obviously, I'm biased, but the Red Sox ending the season with the Nationals just feels wrong to me. And I get it. Coming into the season, they were supposed to be a playoff contender, and they traded everyone at the deadline. But I know you need one interleague series to end the year, but it's like, make that fucking like Pirates Royals, like two teams are not going to be in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I get that the Red Sox didn't have that high of expectations coming into this year, but just I don't know. Like even
they were never going to be the last place team. Like we always knew that. We always knew they were not going to be the Orioles or like the Royals or the Pirates. They were never going to be that.
Like Blue Jays Orioles doesn't even bother me as much. Like even though obviously that's an easier matchup for them. Like at least it's still interdivision. Like the Red Sox having an easy interleague matchup for the last 3 games of the season just rubs me the wrong way.
Oh yeah, I mean it is what it is. I am excited for the next couple games for the Yankees. Like you said, like I am happy that it's in our hands. Like if we can do our job, we don't have to rely on anyone else to get us into the playoffs, which I think is always just a bonus, because I felt like the way this stretch of baseball was going in the past, like when we literally had the Yankees funeral last week, and now they've coming out of the casket and everything. Now they're obviously first in the wild card spot. But I mean, there was a point where I'm like, all right, well, we have to, like, we were watching scoreboards. We're going to be doing that this week, but with a little bit more positivity. We were watching scoreboards to the fact that it's like we need these teams to lose to maybe get the second wild card spot. So now that we had that first spot, tied, whatever does happen with the Blue Jays game tonight, and obviously the rest of the MLB, all we have to do is do our job. And like you said, I think we've been talking about it, like we'd be happy with a 4-2 stretch. Obviously 5-1, obviously 6-0 is most ideal, but like you can't throw it away. You can't get swept by anyone. Even losing 2 out of 3 is kind of, a little iffy. So, I mean, everything is in your hands, which is something I like.
Yeah, and that's where my head's at too. Especially, we keep saying how easy the Red Sox schedule is here, and as big as it is that we went in there and swept them, which I did not see coming. I don't think most people saw coming. And you take over the first wild card spot. If we win both series and go 4-2, and the Red Sox, have a 5-1 week, like I think they're very capable of doing. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Like if you win both series, that is what it is. So I don't know. If I'd rather be in this spot where we're the ones playing the teams who are battling right in front of us than be hoping for help from somebody else.
Yeah. So let's recap the Red Sox series a little bit, because that was absolutely huge. I think Giancarlo Stanton is the greatest hitter of all time. I don't think that's an exaggeration. I don't think there's any reason to think otherwise. 3 home runs that series, right? 3, if I'm not mistaken.
1 in every game. Yeah.
1 in every game, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 1 in every game. I mean, just absolutely hitting the shit out of the ball. Obviously we'll see what happens with his ankle. I think it was his ankle. It kind of looked like he rolled his ankle coming out of the box. We'll see what happens tonight. That's huge going forward. Regardless, he had an amazing series, and I was just happy to see him hit the ball. Huge sweep. Nick, what were your thoughts on the entire series?
Yeah, I mean, people were kind of asking me about this all weekend, like people who are not as big into baseball, and I got a lot of kind of looks or comments being like hyperbolic. This was the biggest regular season series the Yankees have played of our lifetimes. That Stanton home run was the biggest regular season home run of our lifetime, because if you look at it, and obviously regular season adds a caveat, there's been countless playoff moments, like obviously nothing compares to the playoffs, but the Yankees have never been in a pennant race like this, or at least not, I shouldn't say never, but not in a long time. Like you look at all the recent playoff years, like 2017 had the wild card locked up. 2018 had the wild card locked up. 2019 had the division locked up. Like all these races where it was like, yeah, maybe they'll win the division, maybe they won't. They really hadn't been battling for a playoff spot. They are battling for their playoff lives right now. So going up there and sweeping as opposed to series, that was absolutely massive. So and my 2 favorite stats from the series, they're both Stanton stats, 0 runners left on base. It's just
Yeah.
run 10 RBIs. And that grand slam off Hernandez in the 8th inning that turned a 2-1 deficit to a 5-2 lead increased the Yankees' World Series ability, which these are obviously bullshit stats, but still by 0.81%, which is pretty crazy to me. Like if you look at like there's 30 teams, there's how many teams in playoff contention still? I think the Yankees World Series percentages I've been like 1% and 2%. So like essentially like might have doubled the Yankees in terms of this bullshit playoff probability. Like I think that's just kind of like crazy that like one hit can do that.
I mean, that's where I think stats get a little convoluted, where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
yes, that was a big moment in the Yankee season. Obviously, it did lead to them, being first in the wild card spot right now. But like, all right, like increasing the World Series odds, like let's relax sabermetrics and all that other stuff. Like maybe I think you guys are just getting a little bit of a hard on, just trying to make little moments seem a little bit bigger than they are. But regardless, huge series. Very exciting. I mean, I was just pumped just to see them do well in Fenway, because I mean, it hasn't been a great year overall against the Red Sox. I mean, we've had some heartbreakers, and considering where they both were in the wild card standings, I mean, that was as big as it was gonna get. Like you said, I mean, I can't remember the last time. I was actually thinking about this today. I can't remember the last time the Yankees were fighting for a playoff spot, because even the year that they didn't make it, it was kind of like they're dead anyway. You know,
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I think what was that the last time? It was probably the
2016 they didn't make it.
2016. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So like, but like even those years, it was like, all right, they're dead. It was pretty much over with anyway. And those other years, they had their other spots locked up. This is, like you said, the first time they're really fighting for a spot, and they've responded. It did feel like, again, we had their funeral last week. It felt like they were dead, and they came alive. No bloodline pun intended there, but
I think something that kind of got a little bit overlooked too, just because of the offensive onslaught on Friday. It was really refreshing to see Garrett Cole have a good start at Fenway, and I know it's not the most visually appealing stat line. 6 innings, 3 runs. He gets clipped by Devers again. That's Devers' 3rd homer off him at Fenway this year. But he really went to Fenway this year. Had one absolute stinker of a start, and 5-inning. I think it was a 3 or 4 run outing where Devers hit a home run over the monster on him. So, given that. In my heart of hearts, I do think the Yankees will be the second wild card. I do think they will go to Fenway for that game, just looking at how the schedules line up. Obviously, You don't know what's going to happen with Garrett Cole on the mound. I think mentally, if he would have had a 3rd stinker in a row there, that would have been tough for me to be like, all right, like I feel good about this right now. So
in what world would you start someone else though?
No, you wouldn't. Listen, he could have given up 12 runs on Friday.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
and you're starting him. Like you pay him $36 million. He's the second best pitcher on the planet. It's not that I would have said, oh, he's definitely gonna go out and get fucked tonight. But in the back of your head, if you're like, he's had 3 poor starts at Fenway this year, that would have been tough. So I'm glad he did that. Orioles just tied the game 2-2. Ryan Mountcastle 2-run homer off Sale.
MVP, baby. Ryan Mountcastle.
Dude, Ryan Mountcastle is. Orioles have like 5 like legitimately good players, and then just AA players.
I was gonna say, I feel like every year there's always like a guy in the Orioles where like he's actually like not that bad. Like they should be better. And I feel like I've been saying that for like 5 years now, and like they just never have been. Where it's like, oh, like there's just like someone who's like, he's talented, oh, that guy's not bad. Like, okay, like you're just throwing little pieces together, and they're just awful. Every single, like, They have Cedric Mullins, great player. We're getting off topic here. Cedric Mullins, great player. Trey Mancini, great player. Ryan Mountcastle, great player. No
Austin
pitching.
Hayes. I like Austin Hayes.
Yeah, like even Severino is not a terrible catcher. Like he's not the worst defensive catcher in baseball. Like you can make do with him. So like, I mean, and John Means, he was having a great season to start. So like I don't know. I don't get why they're always so atrocious. Maybe it's because their payroll is like $8 million total. I'm sure that has a little bit something to do with it.
Yeah, I don't think they like pay anybody. Like it's like they have the young guys, and then the rest of where they should have just like average at least veterans, they just have absolutely horrendous players for the rest of the roster.
Oh yeah. Looking forward to the rest of the Yankee season. Not even looking forward because I'm terrified of what's going to happen. More like looking ahead. What do you think is going to happen in these series? Like truthfully, like what would you consider like a realistic situation? Like obviously we're hoping for 4-2, 5-1, but what would you consider realistic given our opponents that's coming up? Like, because I mean, three games at the Trop, I hate.
Well, we're home. We're home. We're home.
Oh, we're home. Okay,
Yeah, we're home.
circle that
So
back.
I could see anything happening, right? I mean, I'm going to give you the same speech I feel like we give on this show every week, where I could see them going 5-1, no problem, and I could see them having like a 1-5 horrible week. So I don't know what's going to happen. I never feel good going to Toronto. I tweeted this tonight. I feel like because it's not the Trop, it doesn't get as much hate as it should. I hate watching games on TV there. Tyone already came out of the game, Stanton slipped. That feels like it's like another kind of house of horrors in terms of injuries. And I mean, that Blue Jays lineup can rake. They have Ryu, Barrios, and Ray lined up. So I don't know. I don't have a great feeling about this series as well as they've played. And then the Rays, I really don't know, right? Because they're going to be playing for nothing. Most likely they're going to have the number 1 seed locked up by Friday.
Yeah.
But like Kevin Cash is an asshole. I'm sure he would love to knock the Yankees out of the playoffs at Yankee Stadium. So like, I don't know what's going to happen. Really, really anything can. But I mean, at least they put together a 6-0 week last week, and we'll see what happens from there.
Kevin Cash seems like the kind of guy where he's anti-rust, and wait, what is it? It's rust versus rest. I feel like
Rest versus rust.
He would rather them not be rusty. Like he would lean towards the side of playing these guys because he really doesn't give a shit. I feel like I feel like he does actually hate the New York Yankees.
He does. And you know what? I don't, at the same time, it's not just him being an asshole. It's ALDS game 1, I believe, is on the Thursday. So you're not going to have your relievers not pitch for a full week. So I'm assuming like that Sunday, he'll probably keep as many of his guys down as possible. But Friday and Saturday, if they have a lead, or even if they don't have a lead, to be honest with you, probably just planned out inning by inning, they're going to throw their better guys because you don't want them down for, 5-6 days in a row, or at least I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, no, that's like the logistical baseball reason for it. But I also think that Kevin Cash is just an asshole.
Yeah.
I
could see him going ball to wall on like Sunday where it wouldn't even make sense, where he's like legitimately like, I could totally see that. Like, I really don't see him taking his foot off the gas pedal strictly because it's the New York Yankees fighting for a playoff spot. Like I wholeheartedly believe that.
I want to make a t-shirt now because I accidentally stuttered over the word, but it came out to a nice pun. I'm going to get a t-shirt that says Kevin on the top and then cash hole right here.
Cash hole. Yeah, that would sell. I would wear it. I'd wear that.
It's a pun,
I would wear
the Kevin Cash pun.
Yes, it's a masturbation joke.
I had it. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask. So we've been looking for a kind of like an emotional thing to kind of for the Yankees to ride all year. Like, whether it was like I was saying, or halfway through the season, I'm like, they need some like existential reason. Like, what are you guys playing for type thing? I think they might finally have it, but I don't really understand where it came from. Bronxy the Turtle. Well, I mean, this feels so stupid, but I feel like it's kind of working. Do you know anything about this? I've just seen it on Twitter all day, and I'm like, did I miss something entirely?
So I didn't even know about him until this morning. I would die for him now that I know he exists. It's like the perfect story. It's like if you scripted it, like it was the team decided they needed something. Nestor Cortez was the one who spearheaded it because of course he was. They're 6-0 coming into this game against Toronto ever since they adopted him. Says they all take care of him. DJ LeMahieu enjoys just staring at him, which is like, again, perfectly just on brand. Unfortunately, he couldn't get through customs in Canada. So as far as I'm concerned, this series is being played under protest. So if anything, I guess it's a spin zone that if they do get swept in Toronto, at least they come home and they'll have Bronxy back. But I'm excited that we have him, but I'm a little nervous that he's not in Toronto. I'll be honest with you.
Wait, so he was Nestor Cortez adopted a turtle on his own and just brought him to the clubhouse one day and everyone was just like, word?
I think it was like the team was kind of talking about getting like a
okay.
And then Nestor was like kind of took it upon himself to be like, I'm going to get us a turtle.
Everyone's talking about Aaron Judge being the captain, maybe Garrett Cole. I mean, Nestor Cortez is the captain. I mean, you didn't see Aaron Judge or Garrett Cole buying a turtle and bringing it to the clubhouse. I mean, that's what puts a C on your chest. You know what I mean?
No, Nestor Cortez is just like, he's just one of my favorite people to ever exist. Like he just the mustache, just everything. I don't know if you saw, he had these Super Mario themed cleats, which I don't know if he's allowed to wear in a game or not, but they say Nasty Nestor on him. Just an all around, just absolute sex pistol of a human being.
There was a point this year, there was some awful angle of him. He looked like he might have been about 47 years old. And I think he's actually like 27 or 28. Like he's not as old as even if you were like, oh, he's kind of on the older side. Like I thought maybe like, okay, he's obviously not 47 like he looks. Maybe he's like 33. I think he's still in his 20s.
Dude, I think he's 26. Let me look. Like, yeah, I thought because like when we had him, I figured he was one of those guys like bounced around, like making spot starts for teams, and he's in his like early to mid 30s. Yeah, dude, he is 26. He was born in 1994. like that's crazy. You think because of the mustache? You think because of the beard? And I'm really hairy. Oh fuck! Oh nice, the throw hit Gio. Yankees just tied it. A little hit by Rizzo, 3 for 3.
Oh boy.
Anthony Rizzo.
Oh, nice little bloop. I'm a second behind you, but a nice little bloop single.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, I hit him, idiot.
Aggressive send by Nevin, to be honest. Yeah. As is every single. Oh, that was another tweet I saw today. The guy Eric on Yankees Twitter tweeted. It was a picture of Bronxy, and it was Nevin. It said Nevin waves him home on a shallow single to left.
Tortoise in the hair situation. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. Gio's like limping around. Gio turns and he was cooked at home. This is good. This is really good radio right here that we're just describing this. But Gio was, if that throw does not hit him, he's out by.
Wait, why is he limping?
I don't know why he was limping around third, or why he turned and looked, or why Nevin sent him home.
How do you send
none of that made sense.
How do you send a limping Gio Urshela home in the?
I don't know.
When the ball is in the left fielder's hands.
Absolute lock too. As Gio crosses home, he like stumbles, and Rugi is just out of the dugout, like ready to catch it, just because of course he's right there. That's unbelievable.
I kind of wish Rugi played more, but it's okay that he's not. It's probably for the best. He had his moment in the sun.
I think like clubhouse guy and like good presence on the team like is one of the more like overused phrases. Like I still see people talking about like how the Yankees like miss Didi in the clubhouse and shit.
Yeah.
But like Rugi Odor like legitimately is the definition of that guy, and I think he like actually helps. Like he's just like clubhouse guy like to a T.
I don't want to get ahead of myself because obviously, like I said, we had this 7 days in hell situation where we just got to get through it and see if we actually make the playoffs. But a guy who's not playing and then you got to cut down a playoff roster, do you bring the clubhouse guy with you? You got to, right?
Oh, yeah. I think even if he doesn't make the playoff roster, because I think there's an argument that he probably won't, because I don't know who you pinch hit for.
That's what I mean.
And then like Velasquez like makes more sense because he could play short and he's a much better pinch running option. Yeah. Rugi Odor will be in the dugout though, even if he doesn't make the roster. Like he'll be there.
Don't they? Maybe I'm just thinking of last year, but I thought they cut down who was allowed to be in the clubhouse for playoff games when you cut down the roster.
Sure.
Maybe I'm just thinking of last year though.
I think they took that stipulation out, or at least because maybe because the Yankees are 85% vaxxed. I don't know if this is one of the things, but I've seen like at points throughout this year, like Severino or other guys, like before they're activated and on the roster, still in the dugout. So I got to imagine for the playoffs, they're allowed more players in the dugout than just the 26-man roster.
Okay, let's say, for example, he's not allowed in there. Yankees Twitter is chipping in and buying him front row seats to wherever the game is. And he's just going to just be the clubhouse guy from literally right behind the dugout.
Oh, he would just have to pull a Bobby. He would just have to pull a Bobby Valentine and just rock like a fake mustache, or I guess he already has facial hair. But you get what I'm trying.
He would shave it and just put it back on. Everyone would be like, "No, that's clearly still you, Nestor Cortez. Your mustache, your fake mustache looks exactly the same as your real mustache."
You know what you do? You give him Nestor's jersey. You have Rugi shave it down to a mustache, and on days Nestor's not pitching, Rugi can go in the dugout.
Writing that down.
We just have to, just in case. I mean, listen, I don't know. I hope it doesn't come to that, but maybe.
Yeah. I think that was all we had. We covered Rugi Odor not making the playoff roster and covering up in a fake mustache. That was pretty much the biggest thing that we wanted to touch on. Anything else? I think that was it. I mean, at this point, it's a waiting game. You know, nothing more we can say that we haven't said all season. It is literally just like win. win.
Yeah, this
It's
is
that easy at this point. You got to win 4 out of 6, and you're probably set.
this is crunch time. Stanton's still in the game, so it looks like he's hopefully all right, which is good. Yeah, I don't know. I think this will be our last like episode, and then next week for the playoffs, I think we're talking about probably doing some shorter reaction type things. I know AL wildcard game Tuesday, NL the next night, and then throughout the rest of the playoffs, we'll kind of pick and choose our spots. I feel like we're not going to be talking about a game a week after it happens in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I mean, we just want to keep everyone up to date, obviously, and we're probably going to want to complain a lot too about what's going on. I'm just going to get some stuff off my chest if and when the Yankees play. So looking forward to that, and God bless the Yankees this week.
Let's go. Huge week for baseball. Let's go baseball.
Huge week for baseball. And we got Thursday night football as a BS game. Bengals Jags. Go baseball. Ratings are skyrocketing this week.
Last week of the wild card race, Jaguars on a Thursday night. I'm officially declaring it the start of fall. I know it started I think officially sometime last week. It's fall now. It's fall. Shitty Thursday night football and baseball pennant race. The fall has arrived.
Fall is not a date, it's a feeling.
Exactly. It's more of a state of mind than anything else.
Absolutely.
It's like Pitbull.
Yeah, Dolly. All right, we'll catch you guys next week, and go Yanks.
All right, later, skaters.
Peace.